The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Holy Chytil? I want to say it. I was impressed, and we lost today, so I'm going to do my best to be positive too, okay? The Vancouver Canucks lose 3-2 to the Detroit Red Wings without Quinn Hughes, and we got some Hughes efforts from a couple new guys. Let's talk about it again on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's giving you another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. I'm actually doing this from the crib tonight, and that's because I'm afraid to drive in the snow. A Vancouverite, no winter tires. Some call me a dumbass. I call myself a good civilian, okay? Like I said, you don't want me on the road when there's ice on the road. It is what it is. Did I mention this was Locked On Canucks, okay? The show that gives you your Canucks every single day, every single minute. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It really does help us out a lot. Or just wait. Wait till you get to that episode, okay? Wait till I deserve it. Speaking of deserving it, the Vancouver Canucks, they deserved a better fate tonight. Hey, they deserved a better fate in Dallas the other night as well, okay? You look at the Vancouver Canucks in their last 15 periods of hockey, I feel as if they played really well in 13 of them, okay? The last two in Nashville, not that great. Ironically, they won that game. But again, the process is looking better. And even though they lost tonight, 3-2 to the Detroit Red Wings, they got a point in overtime. Boom, bam. Even though it's not everything we want, it's still progress. It's still, carving out the path to the playoffs, making it a bit lighter. I think if Calgary wins tonight, we'll be 2 points behind them. Same games played. Again, we didn't have Hughes tonight. We did have Pettersson. And again, we couldn't get the job done. But I'm trying to be positive. I'm not trying to be negative, okay? I'm not trying to absorb that stuff. The homie Providence was like, bro, you got to stop doing that. Let's put that good voodoo out in the air again, okay? That real West Coast bias, and be positive. And again, the proof is in the pudding. The Canucks were the way better team tonight. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are talking about the same things in the comments, okay? We'll get to those very soon. But first, let's go through the list, okay? Let's really talk about this game and spend 5 minutes on report cards. Okay, you know the deal. We got to go through the list, okay? Player by player, grade each one of these guys. See how they did tonight individually. And, let's start from the top. Brock Boeser, who was wearing an A tonight, okay? A lot of people asking, who's the new assistant captain? Well, it's Brock Boeser, and Brock Boeser had multiple chances to score a goal, lay a dent in this game, execute the Detroit Red Wings, who played last night, a team that's won, 6 or 7 straight in a row. But Boeser, man, he couldn't execute. Right? It sucks, but if he does, right, if the best players on this team execute tonight, heck, if the best players on this team execute more often this season, we're not in this fight with the Calgary Flames. But here we are, giving Brock Boeser a C+. Or I'm going to give him a C, because, again, he had 2 glorious chances, and he missed the net on one, and, again, couldn't get his stick on the other. Connor Garland next. I'm going to give this guy, I'm going to give him a B+. I almost gave him an A-. Could have done more in overtime, could have prevented Detroit from doing its thing as well. I thought he passed the puck away a bit way too much, but again, overtime is a crapshoot. And this guy was buzzing with Filip Chytil, okay, and Dakota Joshua. Just demanding play, doing his thing. Again, when Connor Garland plays like that, and I hope he can do that the rest of the way, because we need that, right? Being a play driver, being a more of a play driver than Elias Pettersson. Like, he's got to do that. We got to replace JT Miller somehow. And Connor Garland, again, when he's at his best, I like the swag. I like how he demands the puck, and I like how he wants to make things happen. And again, with the stranger and Filip Chytil, they got the job done. Connor Garland gets a B+. Filip Hronek, I'm going to give him a B. I'm going to give him a B+. What am I talking about? Didn't the Detroit Red Wings have 16 shots today? 17 shots today? Yeah, no Quinn Hughes. Filip Hronek logged a lot of minutes, and for the most part, Detroit couldn't do much, okay? Next up is Drew O'Connor, the new guy. I called this guy what? Magnus O'Connor, Dylan O'Connor, Connor O'Connor. I didn't know this guy's name, but man, oh man, hey, this guy got a lot of size and this guy got a lot of tenacity. He's gonna gel well with Kiefer Sherwood. Okay, especially with the speed, and I was impressed the whole way through. I felt like in the first two periods, the bottom six, they did most of the work. They did most of the work in this game. With the Filip Chytil line as well. Okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is, three lines were going through the first 40 minutes, and one wasn't. Our number one wasn't. And again, Drew O'Connor was playing better than DeBrus, better than Besser, better than Elias Pettersson. And I didn't expect this guy to have that speed, but here he was, causing a ruckus. I'm going to give him a B+ as well. Niels Höglander on the fourth line tonight, I'm going to give him a B. Is anyone else confused? Like, how come Höglander, Karlsson, and Pettersson were a line for a couple games and dominated for like 4 of their 6 periods together, if I'm correct, and we haven't seen that trio together since. Again, talk it, man. You got to start pressing the right buttons, and I'd like to see Höglander with Pettersson and Karlsson again, just because they had that mix. Maybe they're speaking the same language or something, okay? Pius Suter up next, who played with Drew O'Connor. Pius Suter scored a goal. I'm going to give him a B+. And how about Elias Pettersson, okay, the defenseman, up next, number 25, an A+. Terrific. It's so ironic, right? How was Elias Pettersson playing better hockey than Elias Pettersson in a must-win game? All these games are must-win games. It's ironic, but here he was. How old is this guy? 19, 20 years old, a third-round pick last year. 2023, if my math is correct. Like, dude, this guy's playing like a gem. And I know it's early, and the organization loves him, and there's still a lot to prove, but I'm just impressed. Derek Forbort up next. I'm going to give this guy a B. Played with Hronek. I guess I got to give him a B+, because, again, the Canucks defense was just so good today. Speaking of which, Marcus Pettersson. I liked it. Played strong, played wise, played tall. I'm going to give him a B+ too. A great debut. Definitely something that we needed, okay? Considering that, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're looking at the scratches. And Carson Soucy, he was healthy, but he was a healthy scratch. Talk is saying he needs a reset. And again, based on how bad he's been this season, we don't know if this is going to wake him up. But in the meantime, we got Marcus Pettersson, and we need him playing a lot more minutes than Carson Soucy, okay? When Carson Soucy returns to the lineup, he's a number 5, number 6 defenseman, and his minutes are being taken by, again, Marcus Pettersson, the UFA, the Dragon. I'm giving this guy, did I give him a B+? I'm going to give him an A-. I was impressed. How about Elias Pettersson, okay? The other Pettersson, the Mr. 11.6, the most polarizing player in hockey, okay? On the day that JT Miller picks up another 2 points for the Rangers and helps the Rangers beat the Vegas Golden Knights, Elias Pettersson. Yeah, he had an impressive third period, did his thing, had some chances, his wingers couldn't finish, all that jazz, but there's got to be some execution. Like that offensive floor has to be raised, okay? I'm just telling the truth. And as I'm doing that, maybe it's good that Daddy Beggs is here. Because, again, Trevor Beggs, again, what are the chances? I just landed on Elias Pettersson and grading him. I'm giving this guy a C or a C+. Again, in the third period, he played well, but I got different standards. I'm sorry. And maybe I'm doing too much comparing with JT Miller picking up points, but, this team needs to win games. And I'm happy that, we're doing a great job preventing teams from taking less than 20 shots per game. But come on, like, how come Drew O'Connor is getting more scoring chances on his stick than Elias Pettersson and Kiefer Sherwood and Pius Suter and etc.? Like, I'm just waiting for Pettersson to blow up offensively. And until then, I'm going to be hard on him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Jake DeBrusk line was probably the Canucks' worst line tonight. I mean, actually, I thought the other three, like most of the other lines were going. It was like you were waiting for that line to do something. And, obviously this could have been a different game if Brock Besser buries it on the 3-on-1 or if Elias Pettersson buries it on the 2-on-1 in overtime. Both of those shots missed the net. Those guys trying to pick the corners. But that is one of the main stories from tonight is, again, it's a new era for the Vancouver Canucks right now, and they need Pettersson and Besser to lead the way and be the stars. And, credit to Chytil and Garland. I mean, that duo was electric tonight. I tweeted it out before the game. I was like, come on, Chytil's a shoot first guy. Garland's a play driver. Let's see what these guys can do together. Thankfully, Rick Tocchet had the same idea. And man, oh man, the first edition for those guys was really, really strong. I know we're talking about Elias Pettersson, and I agree. I would say probably a C, to be honest, for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, and we're getting comments from my aunt upstairs saying that it's getting old. Okay, comparing JT Miller and Elias Pettersson together. Like, okay, the trade just happened a couple days ago, and it's I'm just looking at the irony. Okay, I'm just entertained. Like I said, we trade Miller, we get a Pettersson back. Like, well, the irony in that, and the first game back off a road trip when Miller's not here, and Elias Pettersson plays really, really well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of irony, and the Canucks have a lot more wins this season if Elias is just like 25% better. That's all I'm saying. Anyway,
yeah,
you want to go on that?
Well, have you graded Elias Pettersson yet? Because to me, Elias Pettersson tonight gets an A+.
Yeah.
He was arguably the best Canuck tonight. When you look at game score from our friends at Hockey Stat Cards, Elias Pettersson, the highest game score among any Canuck player tonight, playing 16-20 overall. You saw him getting more minutes than Noah Juleson, who was kind of cut back there later, but they kept Elias Pettersson going. Man, oh man, what a night for Elias Pettersson. I mean, he looked electric.
He did look electric. How about Kiefer Sherwood? I thought him and Drew O'Connor, Dylan O'Connor, Marcus O'Connor, whatever this guy's name is, they look good today. And Kiefer Sherwood, a big part of the first goal, doing his thing, always trying to make things happen. That's why I like when he has the puck on his stick. And Rick Tocchet was talking about how he hopes that a guy like Filip Chytil inspires other players on the team to, drag the puck with them, do things with the puck. And we're seeing that in a third or fourth liner in Kiefer Sherwood game in and game out. And I was impressed. I'm going to give this guy a B+. And Noah Juleson, probably the worst defenseman today on the club. But hey, at the same time, this team allowed how many shots today, Trevor? Like, I don't have the number in front of me, but was it like 17 or 18? Like, it was so low. So Noah Juleson, a part of that, you got to give him some props. I'll give him a B-. Teddy Bluger doing his thing. I'm going to give him a B. Tyler Myers, I'm going to give him a B+. Playing without Quinn Hughes is hard, doing his thing. But again, he did his thing. And now we got Filip Chytil. I had to rush it to get the Filip Chytil. I'm sorry. I'm giving this guy an A+. And I'm saying I'm sorry because I was poo-pooing all over that JT Miller trade, right? Because I'm like, that's all we got. We're hearing Lafreniere, we're hearing Brendan Schneider and all this stuff. And it's like Filip Chytil, and we know he has the skill set. We know he has the drive, but the injury history and again, a career high of 45 points. But man, oh man, like the Canucks need a guy like Filip Chytil. They really do.
Kyle, I mentioned it when we analyzed that trade, right? And most pundits out there are saying, Chytil is a third line center on a good team. And, I get it because that's kind of what his career arc has been, right? He's a half point per game player, yada, yada. But I do really think, and I do truly believe that Filip Chytil has strong second line potential.
Mm-hmm.
So again, for me, the bigger concern is Elias Pettersson getting back to be a superstar. But I do think Chytil can be a second line center. I do have faith in him. And I think tonight he showed what he can do. And, he had one or two Miller-esque giveaways, maybe trying to do a little JT Miller impression for the fans. But you saw the speed. Like, he automatically looks like one of the quickest Canucks out there. You saw the shot, obviously. You saw some playmaking ability as well. I mean, Filip Chytil absolutely crushed his debut. And he said with Dan Murphy postgame that he's maybe slept 10 hours in the past 2 days. So guy's not sleep a lot, but he came out like he had 10 hours of sleep, man. He was flying.
He was flying, man. He was flying. And speaking of flying, we just flew past most of these names, and we're only supposed to take 5 minutes on this segment. But we lied to the people, okay? We went overtime. It is what it is. Didn't get through the whole list. We'll never get through the whole list in 5 minutes. That's the point of the segment. 5 minutes, 4 report cards. And maybe I cut it short just so we can keep talking about Filip Chytil before we get to break. Maybe, just maybe. Again, I'm trying to keep it positive, baby. I'm trying to be happy. That's what the people want. And I'm ready to get proven wrong. Like, Trevor, I brought this up yesterday. When the Canucks traded for JT Miller, gave up a third, a prospect, and a first-round pick for JT Miller way back when Tampa was trying to get rid of this guy as a cap dump, I was mad. I was irate. I was like, how come we're giving up so much for JT Miller? And here we are, fast forward, 5 years later, and I'm like, yo, how come we're giving up so much for Filip Chytil? And again, I'm ready to be proven wrong, man. And maybe he can prove the people in New York, that organization, wrong. Maybe he can prove himself right, get that opportunity, and live up to that first-round pedigree. And again, the guy has a base layer skill. And I don't know, I feel as if this time around, since he's a new guy, I think Tocchet's going to give him a long leash. If mistakes happen and creep into his game, I think the trade-off will be okay if he's executing offensively.
100%. And it'll be interesting, an interesting arc between Chytil and Miller. And I know everyone's going to think about Miller and Pettersson, but Miller obviously went to Tampa, then came to Vancouver, and then broke out as a superstar. I do wonder time parallels here, man. Tying the straws together. I wonder if Filip Chytil could be another JT Miller for the New York Rangers, where they gave up on a guy too soon. I believe they also traded Miller at the age of 25, 2 years in Tampa, came to the Canucks at 27. So I do wonder if Filip Chytil at 25 years old, with an increased opportunity here, if this is really his chance to cement himself as a second-line NHL player. Again, you watch the tape on this guy, and he's got the skill to do it. I know health is the biggest factor there, but if he stays healthy, I mean, man, oh man, I do really like this guy as a bet to be a good second-line center here.
And man, like the fact that he does have a past with concussions, I know it's scary, but that guy's not scared. He plays fearless. Like he's going into traffic. He's going hard.
Sometimes
to the
that's
paint.
part of the problem, but
yeah, it is what it is. But again, he's young. Maybe he'll learn. And bro, we just need some excitement, man. Like for Rick Tocchet to say, hopefully, like the other players on the team can see his puck carrying ability and want to do that. It tells me a lot. Okay, it tells me that Rick Tocchet's not coaching these guys to not do anything offensively. And B, that it's just a mental issue with this dressing room and the top players on this team, again, not being confident. And here we have Filip Chytil being confident off the rip. Okay, we'll talk more about the game on the other side. Let's shout out Game Time. Get to a lot of these comments. Trevor, if you can do me a favor, I'll do the ad. Just favorite a bunch of comments that you want to get to because I want to read a lot of them. The first game at Rogers Arena without JT Miller. I thought we were going to hear a JT Miller chant tonight, okay? If the game was 8-1, we would have heard it for sure. Volatile crowd there at Rogers Arena, okay? With everything. Anyways, let's get to the other side. Shout out Game Time. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, that place that you probably could have used today to get tickets to this Red Wings Canucks game while there's snow flying from the sky, even though it's a couple centimeters. Okay, it's always snow again here in Vancouver when we see the white stuff. You probably could have got tickets for like $55, $50. Heck, you probably could have got it for $30 if you use the code LOCKEDONNHL if you're a first-time customer, okay? Visit Game Time, use that code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. I love Game Time, okay? They don't lie to you. You see that price that's associated to your ticket? That's the price you pay. No hidden fees, okay? That's just what it is. That's why I like Game Time. They honest. They also got Game Time picks, right? They do all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals so you don't have to waste time searching through endless listings, okay? You're going on your phone already for so long. Like, Game Time helps you out. Again, they're honest. They're efficient. Use Game Time again. Visit Game Time, download the app, and use Locked On NHL to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it? It's game time. It's also time to start talking about this game again, all right? Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about this Red Wings victory over your Vancouver Canucks in overtime, 3-2, an entertaining game, a game in which, again, the Canucks were the way better team. Trevor, I know you got some comments in front of you, but answer this. I feel as if for the last 5 hockey games, for the most part, again, for 13 of those 15 periods, excluding this overtime today, the Canucks were the better team. Like, the processes, they're bought in, they're more connected. I'm seeing progress, and I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You hear a lot about addition by subtraction in the wake of the JT Miller trade. And, you know, I guess I get my guard up a bit, or I roll my eyes when I hear that because, again, on paper, like, you definitely trade away the best player, and typically you don't win that deal. So, but you can kind of see the argument, right? JT Miller's been gone for 2 games, and it does look a bit like addition by subtraction. I mean, very small sample size. It was really nice on Friday to see them take it to the Stars for 40 minutes. Again, the lack of finish and the lack of execution in the third period was a problem. Tonight, they really played well throughout. Again, they're playing a tired Red Wings team, not the best team in the world. They're playing 22 hours after beating the Calgary Flames on Saturday night, doing the Canucks a solid there. But again, aside from the fact that Detroit was tired and kind of mediocre, the Canucks did really look good through 60 minutes tonight. Now, Kyle, I guess my one fear I have, not to go Debbie Downer here, is you look at this Canucks team right now, and I've said it all season, I think they have a high floor because of the bodies that they have right now. And especially you saw the defense tonight, even without Quinn Hughes, play pretty damn well with, Hronek, Myers, Marcus Pettersson, and Elias Pettersson. I thought all 4 of those guys looked good. I thought Forward and Juleson were definitely the weak spots on defense tonight. But Kyle, is my fear realistic or not? I mean, it feels like the Canucks are right now kind of like a middle of the pack team, right?
Of course they are, dude. Of course.
So yeah, they put in these good efforts, but it's almost like they work hard, but they're almost lacking the skill and the finish right now to be considered a serious threat.
Oh yeah, they're not a serious threat, bro. They're not a serious threat. They're a middle of the pack team, get in the first round, make the playoffs, get more experience for Quinn Hughes, and let's move on. Let's get past the season. I'm down to get proven wrong all the time. Like, if they're going to take it far, they're going to take it far, and they're going to prove me wrong. It is what it is. But they don't have the ceiling, and it's bro, they have one leader on this team. Like one literal leader that can do it off and on the ice, and that's Quinn Hughes. Right now, Elias Pettersson, he's not doing it offensively. He's not doing his thing. He's not providing the ceiling for this team to get higher. Like, he's not lifting it, He's just kind of finding his way into the middle of this conversation. And let's be honest, man. The bar is so low. We see this guy doing things that Teddy Bluger does on the daily, and we're just chalking that up as wins. Oh, you see that? You see that? You see that? Bro, that's still not good enough, because we're talking about, again, raising the ceiling. So until Pettersson gets his game back, the Canucks aren't going anywhere, because, again, they don't even have JT Miller anymore. They don't have that 1-2 punch. Like, you need at least that second punch, that second superstar, especially in a star-driven league. With Quinn Hughes being this damn good, you only need 2. I think you only need 2 in good goaltending and good defense, and you can make a run. But right now, we only have 1. And Trevor, can we get to some comments? Okay, because I'm going to go negative, but I want to save my theory till the end. I want to grab some hot water, so read some comments.
All right, well, I'm going to continue on the topic of Elias Pettersson, because lo and behold, in the comments, the number 1 most discussed thing right now is Elias Pettersson. And a few comments here, I think, sum up the situation tonight. So let's get to it here. Canucks questions, comments. Let's go. So Dan Jardine in the comments. We gave Elias Pettersson a C in case you missed it with our grades. Dan Jardine saying you guys are biased. Pete could have had 3 points tonight. He played well. His wingers blew it. And a couple more comments I want to get to on Pettersson. I know Dan Jardine, I got a lot of people hating on Petey. Dan Jardine going back and talking about all the plays Petey made. And I got a couple comments here make me, I think, sum up the situation well. So Kay Cato saying PD EP40 made some great passes, but man, he is slow as fudge. Garrett Moss saying teams adjusted to PD, but PD didn't improve. And I think the last 2 comments really hit the nail on the head for what's happening with Elias Pettersson. His speed is just not there. Whether it was the lack of work ethic in the offseason, which is the main thing we're hearing, whether it is some kind of injury that we don't know about, he's just a couple steps slower from what he was a couple seasons ago, and he's just not pulling away. He's not able to get separation. He still makes good plays with the puck. He's still really good offensively, but that is the number 1 thing missing from his game right now is the speed and the lack of separation. He doesn't have the same space that he did when he was playing early in his NHL career.
100%. And we keep getting this comment like, oh, Pettersson looked fine. Dan Jardine, Pettersson looked good, looked fine. Bro, I'm sorry, but Trevor brought it up. Like, the ceiling of this team cannot be reached, and we cannot win consecutive games because we got to scrap and claw and win these, fine line games. So it's kind of hard to, again, find consistency in the win column because our most expensive players is fine. It's fine. And I get you're trying to be nice and you're trying to support him, but, for me, again, fine. It's not going to help this team win many games. It's going to be good enough with Quinn Hughes in the lineup to compete with Calgary and get a wild card spot potentially. But yeah, fine is not good enough. And Trevor, it hit me today. And I'm not trying to get dark here. I'm happy that Marcus Pettersson looked good and Filip Chytil looked good. In fact, I want this team to win and get to the playoffs so we can extend Marcus Pettersson. You know what I'm saying? I want us to build for the future, whatever that means. But it really hit me today because all the writing is on the wall for for Elias Pettersson, to want the pressure, right? He wants the pressure. He wants to handle it. Well, what's the better spot to do it? It's a Sunday night game in Vancouver. JT Miller's gone. Quinn Hughes is out of the lineup. You want the pressure? Well, man up. Where's the fire? Where's the dog in you? Do something. And it kind of hit me today. Maybe he wants to do something, but he can't. He can't because he came into camp behind the 8 ball. And we may have to wait till next September to see the real Elias Pettersson. That's just the I don't want to wait for that because I want an easy path to the playoffs. I don't want to go bald in April, stressing myself out trying to chase the Calgary Flames and catch him. If he wakes up, I feel like we can win 20 of our next 30 games, Like literally, I like the Canucks have this base that's kind of strong. Like they're doing their thing. It's been maybe like a 20-game stretch where this team just doesn't allow a lot of shots on goal. And now we got better defensively. And but again, I just feel as if this guy needs like a 3-month boot camp to just gain that separation, get faster. And as Garrett Ma was saying, like adapt to the league in general, just getting better and faster. And he just got to get better, man.
Yeah, I think, again, with the speed of the game increasing, you're seeing it on the back end a bit more too. The shots on game across the league is down right now. It's not just a thing with the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry, best commenters in the world. Still going at it. Let's get to it here on Locked On Canucks. All right, Dan Jardine, throwing to another comment from him saying Chytil is much better than Lafreniere. Dan Jardine making some contrarian comments tonight, man. But man on man, I think it is a bit of an argument, right? Like Lafreniere has the pedigree. Chytil, though, has been damn good since he's been in the NHL, right? And you keep seeing that stat, most points per game for a guy under 14 minutes a night. But Chytil's been efficient since he got in the NHL, and injuries are the main concern. He's a bit more of a polished product than Alex Lafreniere. But what do you think of Dan Jardine's comment?
I like the optimism, bro. Like Filip Chytil, holy Chytil, like just I called him Cheetle earlier. Holy shit, I was impressed. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed. Now I want to be proven wrong, and I want this guy to be healthy. And I know a lot of people out there get scared of the whole injury history thing, and it's like you could say that for any player. Like at this point, we could start saying that not only about Demko, but we could also start saying that about Quinn Hughes. Like, no, the guy's small. You know what I'm saying? He plays like 28 minutes a game. That's why we need help on the blue line, so this guy doesn't have to do that for the whole regular season prior to the playoffs. But again, when the playoffs come around, he's going to get bruised up.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
what I'm saying? It is what it is. So the whole injury thing is like you can't be so scared of it. And the fact that this guy has a smile on his face and the way he plays, he's a bit chaotic. Like he goes into traffic, like he wants some of that punishment. Like he's down to go through 3 or 4 guys with his head down and like possibly get clubbed again. And this guy's concussion history, like I think he's just a tough guy, and I hope nothing but the best for him and that he doesn't get hit in the head again. You never know.
100%. Let's talk about a bit about JT Miller in the comments here. David Martin saying Miller for Ring of Honor.
Let's not go there.
And Mike Laval saying he hears Kyle's joining Locked On Rangers next season. I mean,
Yeah,
Kyle, you were one of the biggest JT Miller fans in Vancouver. JT Miller, he is not making the Ring of Honor. I think you can see what's happened with Ryan Kessler for some more rationale and why. An ugly exit doesn't usually result in a Ring of Honor. But Kyle, you're joining Locked On Rangers. Eh? I heard the same rumors. So can you confirm to the people? Are you staying in Locked On Canucks? Or are you heading to Locked On Rangers?
No. But I'm a sports fan. Like I don't know how long it's gonna take for me not to like glue into like the Rangers highlights and see how JT Miller is doing. I mean, this guy was our number 1 center last season. He's on a new team, and he left in dramatic fashion in a collision course with Elias Pettersson. Like this is like some WWE stuff. You don't think I'm gonna pay attention to it? It is what it is. And right now, JT Miller has 4 points in 2 games. The Canucks have scored you know what I'm saying? Like they scored 2 goals. They could have needed some offense. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they scored 3 against Dallas. So I was about to poo-poo on them, but it would have been wrong. But it's a thing. It's a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Like counting down the points, counting down the offensive production. Like it's gonna be a thing. Versus again when it comes to Miller versus Pettersson, and even if Miller wasn't there, like Pettersson has like maybe like 15 goals in his last 90 games. It's always gonna be a thing until it's not a thing. But the whole Ring of Honor thing, like I'm not that in love with JT Miller. Like I'm also, dude, like who knows what happened, right? Who knows what happened? But at the same time, I pointed this out since JT Miller was a Canuck in 2019, 2020. The Canucks, their record's 210, 164, and 48. AKA they won 210 games and they lost 212. That's not Ring of Honor isk. Like who cares about the stats? We didn't win with this guy, and I'm excited and I'm fascinated and I'm confident that we can do better in the win column without JT Miller. Like the bar isn't that high.
No, I think it's a great point. And you look at JT Miller's time in Vancouver, really he had 2 monster seasons and then he had 3 other good ones. And then this year you could call it probably pretty middling, but JT Miller for 2 seasons wasn't a 100-point player. And for the other 3, he was more of like a 70 to 80-point guy. Right. So I think, again, you've seen different versions of JT Miller in Vancouver, but again, JT Miller not here anymore. Quinn Hughes not in the lineup tonight, but one of the reasons we're believing in the Canucks, and let's end it on some positivity. Ricky Shady Ricky Shea saying, anybody see a positive change tonight? And Smirky McSmur saying, we are a threat.
I like it. I like Smirky always, rebuttaling. He's always he's in the trenches against me, like always talking shit about me, blah, 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 because he just wants me to be positive and see the light. And on that note, I did see the light today. Like, the Canucks played faster. They played better. Marcus Pettersson, like, that's not an easy spot to just get thrown into. I know the Red Wings aren't the craziest team in the league, but there's no Quinn Hughes tonight. You know what I'm saying? There's no Quinn Hughes tonight. There's also no Carson Soucy. Like, all of a sudden you're the second best defense. I know. I'm just saying, like, you got DPD, you got Noah Jules. Like, it's just not the easiest thing to do. And they held their own, and you could see the breakouts were better, and they just played with a bit more speed, man. Like, I can't believe adding two pieces, like what's his name again? Connor O'Connor and Filip Chytil. Like, it just made the team look so different. And I'm down with it, man. Like, I'm team playoffs. I'm team get in. And I think the Flames are going to win tonight. They're up 3-1. It's going to be done with a 2-point lead going into the week, and they're catchable. And I'm excited. And again, as I think it was Ricky who said the comment, like, I saw positive change today. And I've been seeing positive change over the last four or five games, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And again, JT was here for a part of that, but again, the Canucks are moving in the right direction, and it does feel like maybe they're getting a bit of retribution for the PDO bender last year, right? I mean, both in the regular season and in the playoffs to an extent, this team didn't create enough for themselves, had a high shooting percentage. Over the last couple of games, we've seen them create enough to win, especially tonight. I mean, high dangers at even strength, 14-2 for the Vancouver Canucks. They deserve to win this game.
Yeah, they did.
And they fell up short. So again, I think maybe Lady Luck's catching up to the Vancouver Canucks, but as long as Lady Luck comes back around in March, April, and beyond, I think that's what matters most for the Canucks. They need to create more of their own luck. They've done that over the past couple of games, and if they keep doing that, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yep, they're going to make the playoffs, and again, I guarantee it, they're going to do it without Elias Pettersson. I'm not confident right now that he's going to find his game. And look at this comment from Elston saying that Pettersson didn't show up to training camp in shape after being guaranteed $98 million. How can you defend that? Dude, I'm defending that because he's a Canuck right now. And I got to be hopeful that he's going to come back. So I wonder, and this sounds crazy, but I wonder if, like, Filip Chytil's our number one offensive center going forward, and like you got to use Pettersson a little differently. Like, again, I was bringing up how we should maybe not give him Besser and DeBrusk and just give him Höglander and Karlsson and just, like, check it away, like, become a hard line to play against, do your thing. I just don't see the separation happening this season. But again, I do see a playoff spot. It is what it is. It is what it is. I see light at the end of the tunnel. Now, Trevor, two things before you sign out. Again, my name's Kyle Bound. That's Trevor Begg, second best dad in the world. If you enjoyed the episode, hit the like button. It really does help us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel, boom, bam. But two things, okay? I got two theories. A, the obvious. Okay, Quinn Hughes ain't playing in the Four Nations charity tournament, okay? I'm sorry. Ain't going to happen. It wouldn't have been a smart decision if he played in the game today. That's what Rick Tocchet said. Okay, we need to make the playoffs a week away from this tournament starting or whatever, or the training camp for it or whatever. However it's gonna go. Don't go Quinn Hughes. I think I'm right on that. Answer that. And B, we're using that Danton Heinen money ASAP on an extension for Pius Suter.
Yeah, with Quinn Hughes, I mean, there was some rumblings that he might not go to the Four Nations, but when he did his post game with Dan Murphy on Friday, he alluded to the fact that he's going to see JT Miller in 6 to 7 days.
True.
Which makes you think that he's playing at the Four Nations. But I think if he's truly not healthy enough to go, he won't go. But I think if he's even 70 to 80%, I do think he's going by the sounds of it. So on Pius Suter, I mean, man, oh man, unless they add another center here, I do think an extension for Pius Suter makes sense. Because I mean, you're tied to the hip with Pettersson. He's got to be your number one guy. If he's not, this team's in trouble. But after that, I mean, Chytil at 2, I think can make sense. Suter at 3, Blueger at 4. You got Ratu in the mix to push those guys for minutes. Maybe push Suter to the wing. And maybe we'll talk a bit more this week about what that price is for Suter, because it's dependent on that. But I mean, yeah, he's again, he raises the floor of this Canucks team.
Yeah, he's quality. He fits the identity. He's a good penalty killer. Again, he got thrown into a line with Marcelius O'Connor and Kiefer Sherwood, and like they played well. Like, yeah, you just use him everywhere. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Locked on Canucks, Smirky McSir saying that I should get another team. Apparently, I'm too negative. I don't know, I don't know what gas you're smoking, but bro, like The Canucks have won 23. They've lost 29, if my math is correct, or like maybe I'm missing one game off or whatever. My expectations are just a little bit higher. And if like, I know that if I know it's all on the Elias Pettersson thing and people think I'm roasting him. Dude, I'm one of the biggest Elias Pettersson fans. Okay. Early last season, what am I saying? Give this guy the blank check. I'm saying 11.6 is a bargain. Like I cheer for Elias Pettersson, but I just know in my heart that if he's 20% better, 15% better, the Canucks are 4 points ahead of Calgary, bare minimum, 6 points ahead of Calgary. No, real talk. Talk.
No, 100%. I mean, if what are they now, 3-10 in overtime, Matt? And if they win even like 4 more games, they're looking much better than they are right now. But
I like this comment. Man. Should Elias Pettersson not play in this tournament coming up and rest a bit and just do P90X every day? Who knows? Okay, Locked On Canucks, hit the like button. Begsy, sign us out.
All right, Canucks lose 3-2 to the Detroit Red Wings, but looking better in the process. Again, hopefully better days ahead for the team, but no matter what happens, we got you covered here on Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, go subscribe and like this on YouTube and on the podcast side. Oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. We'll be back on Monday. Kyle, we should have Andrew Chelney, our Rangers guy. I believe he's at Sirius XM now. For some thoughts on what's transpired over the past couple of days. People in New York not too happy with the JT Miller trade, but maybe they're feeling a bit different after 2 games. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bound, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace. Go Canucks, go. We making the playoffs. Don't worry.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.